YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Rob Kim, and welcome back to the Rob Kim Show. And this one, we got another reaction video coming from WrestleMania, and we're reacting to the 10 WWE wrestler who refused to win at WrestleMania. And of course, WrestleMania is like right around the corner, about next month. We got how many weeks we got till Mania? Got a couple, right? I don't know the date. Like, shit. Hold on. Probably like maybe 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's early April. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments below. But anyway, we're reacting to this video from WrestleMania. Of course, as always, subscribe to his channel. The video will be in the description below, and leave a like on his video as I just did. Subscribe to Rob Cam. You already know. Do me that favor. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Share to your friends. Comment below too. But without further ado, let's get straight into it.
WWE wrestlers who refused to win at WrestleMania. Number 10, AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. Now, heading into AJ Styles' WrestleMania debut, fans were convinced that AJ would secure a huge win over Chris Jericho. AJ was the firm favorite for the matchup, as this was his first ever WrestleMania matchup, and it wasn't as if Jericho needed the win, as his popularity and star power couldn't be touched during this time. Shockingly, WWE decided to have Jericho win the match, and it was later reported that AJ wanted to lose the match. Was this because AJ wanted to show that he was a team player?
Can I say one thing about AJ Styles as we're talking about him? I just watched his video with Chris what's that guy's name? Chris Vert, something like that. I want to say Chris Van Vliet, but I could be wrong if that's his name. The dude that always interviews wrestling. I know his name is Chris. But I was watching his interview with AJ Styles earlier, and I will say AJ Styles is he was one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But after watching that interview, he's definitely one of my favorites. Like, it's like John Cena, AJ Styles is like right there. Like John Cena, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Batista, like. He's a very like respectful, humble guy, bro. After watching that interview, I just want to say shout out to AJ Styles, because there's a lot of times where he could have like petitioned himself to be over or win the match, and he's about the business. So you gotta respect somebody that's willing to do the take the losses and take the losses basically, and do the grunt work and still have momentum coming out of it. Because some losses, some people just go down. Like, that's why he's phenomenal, you feel me? He's never going to be down. Like, he's one of the ghosts of wrestling. I don't care what nobody says.
Well, potentially. It may have also been that AJ was of the belief that he shouldn't just walk into a prominent spot on the WrestleMania card and just win, and it was his duty to do the honors. Number 9, Mark Henry versus The Undertaker. One of the names that was pitched to end the iconic streak of The Undertaker was Mark Henry.
For real?
The Undertaker at WrestleMania 22 in a casket match, and when this news first surfaced, fans were stunned, as there was no way on paper that Henry was gonna defeat the legendary Undertaker in his, well, own match. And according to Mark Henry, during an interview with Heavy, the creative call of Henry defeating The Undertaker was very close to happening, but ultimately, he would turn it down. It was close, and there was some conversation about me being the one to break the streak, and if they would have asked me, I would have been like, hell no, I don't want to carry that weight. And Henry, just like several other names who have turned the offer down, realized the magnitude of the win. Conquering the streak at that time would have argued...
Hey, one thing I will say about a lot of folks when it comes to Undertaker streaks, a lot of people said no. Like, they did not. I don't know if Brock said no, because I hear like when Brock ended the streak is because Undertaker got concussed and couldn't really do nothing in a match. But I don't know if it was planned for him to win or not prior to all that stuff with Taker happening during the match. Yo, I feel like I gotta concussion my damn self. Ow. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of people. Edge, I know. I didn't even know about Mark Henry. I know Edge said no. So a couple people definitely had a chance to end Undertaker's streak, but out of respect for him, they said no. Which, you feel me? That's respect to the dead man. You feel me? I would say, if I was a wrestler, I would say no too. Like, nah.
Arguably been bigger than any world title win, and it's not something that talent were comfortable openly accepting, which is completely understandable. Number 8, Kane versus The Undertaker. Kane was a name that The Undertaker loved working with. This affection ran so deep that The Undertaker reportedly wanted Kane to break the streak on more than one occasion. It's believed that WrestleMania 20 was one of the events discussed for this to take place, and it was even rumored that The Undertaker wanted Kane to break it at a subsequent WrestleMania event. Kane was well established for being one of the most selfless pro wrestlers of all time, so it was hardly a surprise that the man said no thanks. Kane had such an elite reputation in this regard, and when The Undertaker put over his kayfabe half-brother on a number of pay-per-view events in 2010, this was likely The Undertaker's way of giving Kane a lap of honor. Number 7. The Rock vs JBL. Now in 2005, as WWE were putting together their creative plans for WrestleMania 21, one of the ideas WWE was sold on was
I know what
JBL
you're talking about.
the WWE title
Against The
versus
Rock.
The Rock. The Rock was basically retired at this point in time, but WWE believed that this would reignite the product and make fans interested in what WWE were offering. The initial creative plans legitimately called for The Rock to win. However, with The Rock having extensive commitments in Hollywood, it's unknown how this would have worked. Of course, the Great One turned the match and the huge win down, and instead WWE would commit to making John Cena the new face of the company, which was 100% the correct call. Number
Hey,
6.
hey, it definitely was. It definitely was. If because I heard still, I've now finding out like watching these videos and doing these reaction with you guys. You feel me? I'm learning a lot more stuff that I didn't know. Like I heard about that The Rock was supposed to come back. Instead of doing the was that the same? No, it was 20 that he teamed up with Mick Foley. He was supposed to come back and beat JBL and win the title, but like he said, the commitments to Hollywood kind of like you know he had a lot of commitments back then. So and I feel like it was a good decision to put Cena over and let him be the one to him and Batista because you got in that time period, Rock is gone, Stone Cold is gone. So who's really like next generation of superstars? I think that's something WWE is good at now, like passing the torch, like because sooner or later Roman, Seth, who else? Roman, Seth, and that group of guys are gonna be out the door soon. So now you gotta easily like pass it to like Carmelo Hayes. That shout out to Carmelo Hayes for real. Braun Breaker, Roxanne Perez. You gotta pass it to Corey Jade. You gotta pass it to Soruka. All those people down there in NXT. Shout out to them as well doing their thing. So it's kind of like sooner or later. I give it like probably the next, let's say about 5 years. I feel like Breaker out of all of them is going to be the first to win a world title, and that could be honestly within the next 2 years or so. So we're gonna see that once one of them wins the title, we're gonna start seeing like like a world title. I mean, like we're going to see the passing of the torch, and it's going to start with Braun Breaker.
The Undertaker versus Roman Reigns. WrestleMania 33 was designed to be The Undertaker's final ever WWE match. He was going to wrestle Roman Reigns in the main event of the show, and he insisted on putting Reigns over in the biggest way imaginable. Winning the main event match was simply out of the question for the dead man, and he wanted to go out by putting over the new face of WWE. Whilst this mentality was appreciated, the match itself did neither man any favors, as it was a complete letdown. The dead man wasn't just in the right place physically or mentally to deliver a high quality match, and this led him to having several more matches down the road. The Undertaker has spoken at length regarding how bad he felt for messing up Reigns' big moment. Whilst The Undertaker may feel extremely bad, in the long run it failed to hinder either man's legacy or status in WWE. Number 5. John Cena vs Bray Wyatt. It's a common consensus that Bray Wyatt should have defeated John Cena at WrestleMania 30.
That's a
Cena had
fact.
no reason to win this match, and Wyatt winning such a huge match on the grand stage could have been an incredible moment for him. 6 years later at WrestleMania 36, the two would have a rematch, and it was almost as if Cena went out of his way to make Wyatt look good as humanly possible. The two collided in a wild yet fun Firefly Funhouse match, and the match acted as a study of Cena's character and persona. The initial plans for the match were for the two to collide in a regular
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if he'll Cena popping out tomorrow. It's Sunday. Oh, I definitely gotta watch Raw tomorrow. That's no question about that. Ooh, yo, I was gonna say I wonder if Cena's gonna go back to like the trunks that he used to wear where he first like came into the E. Yo, are y'all ready for Monday Night Raw? Comment below. That shit, I forgot. He coming on tomorrow.
2-on-1 matchup, and if this was indeed planned, then Cena would have done the favor and wouldn't have hesitated in putting Wyatt over. It was reported 3 years prior that Cena insisted on putting Wyatt over on SmackDown during Wyatt's reign as WWE Champion, and Cena evidently wanted to right the wrongs of WrestleMania 30. Number 4, Edge versus The Undertaker. Now, the main event of WrestleMania 24 was set to be Edge defending the world title against The Undertaker, and internal conversations within the company were stating that Edge was going to win the match. It's unknown why exactly WWE believed it was a time to end the streak, but it was possible that they may have been under the impression that the streak had just run its course. But Edge would ultimately turn down the offer, and Edge reflected on his executive call during an appearance on the Impulsive podcast. Yeah, so we were going to meet in the main event of WrestleMania 24, and I think the streak at that point was 15-0. It was kind of thrown by me like, what do you think? I was like, absolutely not. Why would we do that? That makes zero sense to me. I'm already a made man. I'm in the main event of WrestleMania. What's it gonna do for me? Sure, it would do something, I guess, but let's save that. Let's save that for somebody who can really use that boost.
That's a
The
fact.
WWE Hall of Famer had a great...
You know who should have ended his streak respectfully? Bray Wyatt. Respectfully. If Undertaker had one match with Bray Wyatt, I would have told him. Undertaker 100% would have said yes. Put him. That's who I feel like should have really ended the streak. Who could have used that rub? Who could have used the boost? Even though on his own he was great, RIP. But honestly, if Bray Wyatt had defeated Undertaker at a WrestleMania and ended that streak, that would have been perfect.
What benefit would it have had to his standing in the company? Edge was already a top guy, and there was no need for him to receive such a monumental win. Number 3, Batista versus Daniel Bryan. Well, upon returning to WWE in 2014, Batista was promised the world. He was promised a main event match versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 30, and he was promised a world title reign. And naturally, due to the rise of Daniel Bryan, some of WWE's promises would be broken. Batista would end up tapping out to Bryan in the main event of WrestleMania. According to Batista himself, during an appearance on MLW Radio's Writers' Room, it was his call to put Bryan over in the main event, and the Animal took issue with WWE's call to follow up the win with a poorly executed angle on Raw the next night. Here's what I hated about the whole Daniel Bryan thing. We did the thing at Mania, which was great, man. I wanted to put him over. I agreed to tap out to him. It was no big deal. I never made a big deal out of it. The thing I made a big deal out of was what we did that deal that night. The next night, after he'd gotten off a stretcher, gone through hell the whole night, and it wasn't his call, but they wanted him to come back not selling anything. Like not selling that he was sore or beat up or injured. Nothing. Batista was rumored to face Bryan in the main event of the 2014 Payback pay-per-view, but it's believed that Batista was on board with continuing the rivalry between his Evolution stable and the Shield. Knowing how well received this angle was, this was definitely the right call.
Blue Tista.
Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. The Kofi Mania storyline in 2019 gripped the wrestling world, and one of the names responsible for the storyline being such an overwhelming success was Daniel Bryan. Bryan used his political power within the company to push for Kingston to get the spot at WrestleMania 35, and Bryan would insist on putting over Kingston. Kingston would reveal this during
Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson.
an appearance on the After the Bell podcast, and Kingston gave Bryan credit for understanding with what the fans wanted. He pushed for that to happen because the plans weren't for me to be at WrestleMania. I'm not sure who it was for Daniel to face, but it wasn't me, and Daniel went in and went to bat for me and the situation for the title match between us to happen, so we had a big part in it too. He was saying a testament to his state of mind as far as advancing the business and doing the right thing for the people and for the best match and product for the people to take in. So kudos to Daniel Bryan. Now, this was a trend that ran through Bryan's entire WWE run. He always seemed to know what the audience wanted, and he always knew when it was time to put someone over. And number 1, Randy Orton versus The Undertaker. One of the names that fans would have likely accepted to end the streak was the legend killer Randy Orton. In 2005, Orton was slowly emerging as a major player for WWE, and he needed a big win to solidify himself as a future legend for the company. As WWE rolled into Orton vs. The Undertaker at WrestleMania 21, there were endless rumors that they were going to have Orton win, but they ultimately had the dead man extend his win streak. It was later reported that Orton turned down the idea of winning that match, which highlighted the respect he had for the dead man. Even though WWE's resident Viper would turn this offer down, The Undertaker would put over Orton at subsequent pay-per-view events, including the 2005 SummerSlam. But there you have it, folks, 10 WWE wrestlers who refused to win at WrestleMania. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more
Wrestle
content.
content. Shout out to WrestleMania, like I said, guys. Please support his channel. Leave a like or on any of his videos. Go check his channel out. Go check his videos out. That RKO Randy Orton shirt is such like a classic, bro. I remember like 2004 is when I really started watching wrestling. And I remember that I hated Randy Orton. That shirt just brought back all the memories, like when he RKO'd Rey Mysterio off the second rope. I remember all that. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all for watching this video. Of course, appreciate y'all for watching. Always remember to keep doing your thing and make it make sense. I'll see y'all in the next video. Safety.